Hey, welcome. And this is Top Rope Talk. I am the sniper, he's the pundit, and we are live for more professional wrestling talk. Before we get started, as you can see, I'm now on Twitch on Denzel Sniper 13. And Jacob, you got a Twitch too. What's your Twitch?
Jacob Pundit.
Oh, yep, Jake the Pundit
Jacob
on
Pundit.
Twitch
I
as
mean,
well.
it's everywhere, you know.
Hey,
I am now on my fantasy leagues. I am now the Ronin, like Carlos Newton,
yeah.
like Carlos Newton, the Ronin. It's an awesome name. I want to see if I can do that more, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get started, just want to remind everyone that we are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course DBTV and Stream TV. We have replays going there all week long. So if you missed this episode, don't worry. Well, I mean, obviously you won't miss it if you're watching it right now. But if you want to watch other episodes, go catch us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube because it's not just Top Rope Talk. We have a bunch of other shows. We got College Football Fridays, the Gauntlet presents Picked Off, Cub Prudential. We're doing playoff episodes. As we speak, so more to come on that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
By Wednesday, the World Series will be decided, so we're gonna have a World Series preview episode. The World Series beginning this weekend. Also, there is, as I mentioned, the Gauntlet. Oh, the Sideline Sports Show, of course. There's Hawk Talk. I mean, you name it. We are everywhere. And also, you can catch myself and Jacob
Yeah.
on the South Florida Tribune, headed by Scott Morganroth and Candy Ebling as well. So follow and like South Florida Tribune as well. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. And as you can see from the headline, we're gonna get right into it, and that is this past week on AEW, or last week rather, Sting announced that his final career match will take place at AEW Revolution 2024. So my question is, considering the WWE Hall of Fame retirement speech in 2015 and then how he made a comeback to AEW and everything. Is it for real this time?
He's 64 years old. He's 65. Yes, of course it is. This time is time. It is time. And it's like you got to realize his leap for that little splash is getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And it's kind of like when Hogan tried to do the leg and he started hitting the guy's
It
nuts.
just got slower and slower through the
and,
years.
then, and then started it came from the face, so it started hitting the nuts. And it's like he
Yeah.
just couldn't lift his leg anymore. You don't want to see Sting having trouble getting off the ground. It's I mean, let me tell you, in Ricky Steamboat's last match, here's the thing. He still looked smooth for a 70-year-old man. Still looked smooth. He was in a six-man match. He still did his drags, arm drags, all that kind of stuff. But he did that chop and he got like 2 inches in the air. And it's like, go. Let us remember you with the arm drags, which still look perfect. Let us remember you with
Still
the
the best arm drag ever.
Yep. I mean, let us remember you with the stamina, which was still amazing for a 70-year-old. Let us
Hmm.
remember all that. Don't do any more of those chops. Don't jump 2 inches in the air. That's not Ricky. Remember that Ricky is the one that goes 10 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
So, so that's just the thing. It's like thing about it is we want to remember Sting the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this: if he was going to do his final match, I would literally come out with slicked blonde hair with the colors.
Oh wow. With the old colorful face paint.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's my favorite Sting anyway. You know,
Yeah,
because it has that beat to get everybody standing.
it
So
does.
yeah, just don't that stupid man called Sting. That was horrible. But no,
Yeah,
but I'm saying a slick since he doesn't have Spike anymore, slick back blonde hair with the colors.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Eh,
and then you could just do the. Remember, he doesn't do the shirtless anymore, so you can just do the blue and you can do whatever you want to do. You know, just color.
yeah, pretty much. Now I will say this much, and that is, of course, should he stick to the? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. Should he, of course, stick with and go out with the crow gimmick and everything? This is
Yeah.
just me. I may be on an
He's
island.
already Crow anyway. He's already Crow anyway. Let us remember, it's like he's already Crow anyway. But I'm like, see, I don't know if he's going to do the color because there are a lot of people in this generation that don't remember the color
They don't
Sting.
remember that exactly. Yeah.
But it's like it would
You know,
be awesome goodbye.
it would. But I will say this much, and I may be on an island on this one. But hear me out. His final match should be versus Darby Allen.
That could be. But here's
And
another idea for
yeah,
his goodbye.
but see, here's the
Have
thing.
Go
He
ahead.
would he would he essentially would be passing the torch.
Yep.
Like, okay, like this is it. Like at some point in time, you got to face me, and then this is it. And then Darby Allen becomes like the Sting of the next generation. You know?
Absolutely. And here's another idea: half Crow, half color. Like one side is the mask, everything with black. The other side is colorful with the old paint. One,
Mm,
everything like that, and then you can choose, and you can do half blonde, half black.
yeah.
That
Hmm,
could be that's an ode to a goodbye and to everything he's had.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's an idea right there. I don't know how. I don't know exactly how fans may take that one. But no,
Well,
but it's an ode to the old. He can, or you know what? Maybe he can come out in crow face paint, but instead of the black streaks or whatever, just make them
yeah.
colorful.
Oh yeah, and it's like you could do that. I mean, either way though, it's like I guess we were. See, my thing about Sting, in fact, I hate the man called Sting. I hate that song with a passion. But I
Mm,
just like, but I like his original music because it has that guitar riff.
hmm
It just see because it reminds me of a Kiss concert or any '80s concert, and everybody stands and they come toward and they're coming toward everything. And the only other person that ever got that besides Sting was Hogan. When you would hear Real American, they'd come toward the gate thing
right.
and just wait for him and put the hands up. Sting got that.
Mm,
See, that was the whole thing. It was like that's that beat that you're at like a rock concert.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely had that feel to. I mean, going back in the '80s thing, and he had the spiked blonde hair with the rat tail in the back and everything, and he was WCW's larger than life character. This is essentially why when Sting faced Hogan at Starrcade in the greatest main event in Starrcade history, maybe even in WCW history, if you think about it, it was your classic battle of the rival '80s because it was the battle of the franchise players. Because
Yeah,
just 10 years prior, and this was '97, but just 10 years prior, you had Sting, who was the face of WCW, and then you had Hogan, who was the face of WWF.
yeah,
They just happened
absolutely.
to meet in at the time, modern WCW ring.
And
And
what I love,
under different, like, of course, personas, because Hogan was red and yellow, Sting was like every other color. And now
yeah,
here they are, both meeting up in like black and white. It was crazy.
what I loved, I'll tell you this: much as anything, as I wish Sting would have beat him clean. Don't get that wrong. But what I did love about heel Hogan was so psycho. I mean, Bobby Heenan used to say it all the time. So psychologically superior.
Yes.
It's like he's afraid of you all the time. You think, and then you get into the ring, and all of a sudden he's very, very dangerous, and he's not even running.
Once he gets the upper hand.
Yeah, yeah, but you're right. But like if he's doing it, he's walking out of the ring, and it's like he would be like he's gold bricking. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But then he would just come so aggressive and everything like that, and I'm like, such a perfect heel thing.
Yeah.
Just like
And between heel Hogan and face Hogan, in the ring, it was no different.
no,
He
no,
choked, he scratched eyes, he did all of
yeah,
that. It was no different.
absolutely,
You know how people switch up like their maneuvers whenever they're a face or a heel?
yeah.
Hogan's one of the few in history to legitimately stay the same.
Oh yeah, no, and seeing that was the thing with Hulk's. That was the thing with Hulk stuff was the fact that that was a brilliant idea. Just in case you turn heel in WWF, like I mean, I know there'd be a couple times he would probably want to in his time, to turn because there's money in heel too, and. And it's like there's probably a couple times, and any of those times, it was probably brilliant to keep the same offense that he had because if he would have had that offense from Japan, you can't do that as a heel.
Yeah.
So you can't do that as a heel. You can do it. I mean, that's a babyface stuff. So You got guess what? He punched, he scratched, he kicked, and if you would have turned and you turn heel, you keep doing the same thing.
Yeah. Now, quick question for you before we go to our next topic.
Yeah,
Let's say Hogan never leaves WWE
yeah,
and he stays all the way through to like 98 or 99 in WWE. Okay.
yeah,
Does Vince McMahon make the call to turn him heel?
yes, yeah. Because he was already because one of the biggest things was it was 19. That'd be 15 years. That'd be 15 years as a babyface.
Yeah.
And it's like it's probably even before that. And it's like you got to remember now you have Stone Cold, and Stone Cold's getting the thing, and Hogan would get booed out of the building in WWF.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have gotten it, especially when Stone Cold's cool, Rock's cool. He wouldn't be able to get away. So yeah, there probably would have been. It wouldn't have been Hollywood, not without the Kevin Nash and all of them. But he would have had black on
Yeah. Yep.
because he wore black in Japan.
But you know what? They did it right because he left. He had his run in WCW. When he came back to a WWE ring 9 years later, he had that WrestleMania versus The Rock, and the entire Skydome popped for Hogan because it was nostalgic. It was memories, you know? And
Uh,
that's when it's like, and that's when they were like, hey, Hogan, you know what? This went a little better than we thought. How would you like one more run?
I'll tell you another thing that would have been very. Would have see. I think Hogan missed the boat on this as far as his heel. It's like he should have just taken his. He should have just worn his Japanese tights to the ring, the short tights.
Yeah.
And that thing because it says number one. I think number one gaijin in that symbol.
Hmm.
It's like he could have worn those tights. It's still black. That's black and white. Or you could have added more to those tights.
Yeah.
You could have had those, and it's like I don't know what his reasoning was for going long tights. That when he was at his best shape of his life,
Hmm.
he was at the
Yeah.
best shape of his life. His legs weren't off. I don't know what he was doing that for.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we're gonna move on to our next topic here, and that is it is official, and that is LA Knight will challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed championship at Crown Jewel. So, and I don't think anyone's really expecting him to win this match, but and maybe you do. But how far in status is this going to push the megastar after this match?
I wish it would. Truthfully, I wish it'd be in the United States. Because here's the thing: if it's the megastar, you need that kind of thing to do it in Saudi Arabia. So I did that. Here's the thing: if he's LA Knight, do the first match in Hollywood.
Mm,
Dude, it's the SoFi Stadium. It's dude. It's like, and just imagine you can have all the stars right onto the stage. You can have all that right there. You just put LA Knight onto the stars for the Hollywood stars. You
yeah.
can put that as he's walking down the ring. It's like that could be the first match. They'll probably still do it if you want to do something like that. But I don't know about the match being in Saudi because our Saudi Arabia is going to know. Are they going to know Are they going to know LA Knight truthfully? I mean, they know Roman, but remember, these are the types that still think Hulk Hogan wrestles.
Uh-huh.
So it's like that's the thing. Do they know him? Like they know him in the United States. They know him in Germany. They know him in Europe. They know him there. They know him in that area?
Yeah, that is true. But also at the same time, who you gonna have who else you gonna have Roman face at Crown Jewel?
Well, you got to remember, Saudi Arabia is that type where they're looking for people they think are still around. So you can throw anybody in there.
Mm,
But see, here the thing about it at the same time is if they didn't ever have it, they already had this. If they didn't already have it, you could have put Logan in there.
mm,
You could have, but it's like, you could have had that. Just come out with the drinks, just come out with the
mm.
drinks, do all that. But no, the thing is, they've already had it though, so you couldn't do this. But like I said, Saudi Arabia that's one of those where you get the show, you get all that guys. You can get anybody.
Yeah.
You can bring anybody in there, but I'm not sure. I just love LA Knight, the idea of playing it in Hollywood, the first
Huh.
one. Do a 90,000 seat stadium, see how much of a megastar he is. I think that builds him.
Okay then. Now, the match happens and everything. I mean, afterwards, does this push him A little further.
No, yeah. He's pushed anyway. He's pushed anyway. They'll get. See, they promoted so much. They
Hmm.
promoted so much of the different people in LA. LA Knight kind of just snuck up. He
Yeah, out of
really did.
nowhere. It was almost like like he kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah,
Well,
and it's crazy because like he's like 40, so it's
yeah,
like he finally got his big break.
I know. Well, it gives. I have a buddy of mine who's. I have a buddy of mine who is 36, and he's wrestling. You know what I mean? So it
Uh-huh.
makes it. It gives you kind of a. It gives you kind of a hope as you're wrestling and everything that you get the call up. And the thing is now, I think older ones can get call ups now with Triple H running it.
Yeah,
It's
this
like
is true.
because Vince wouldn't call up older ones.
Yeah, because you know what with that's kind of the reason why Hogan left in the first place. Vince told him there's no room for you anymore.
That was the dumbest thing alive because big. See, Hulk Hogan was more than wrestling. He was pop culture.
He was.
He was pop culture. I mean, for 25, no, 30 years. For 30 years.
Hmm.
I mean, now, even now, 40 some odd years later, and say a name a wrestler, just some basic people, 95% still say him.
Yeah.
94% say Ric Flair. And those are the names. It's like like 90% still say Andre the Giant. He's been dead 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't say. That's the thing. They don't say L.A. Knight. Not yet. They still don't say much Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
To me, Roman Reigns will be the Hollywood star.
Oh yeah.
He'll be a
He's definitely next.
yeah, he'll be a Hollywood star. It's like I don't. I think Roman Reigns is a WWE star. I don't feel him as far as random or as far as casual viewers. They may know by the look, but I don't feel it. I feel him as being even bigger than Batista in
Okay.
Hollywood. It's like I could see him in the
I mean,
fifth.
I don't know, man. Batista's got Marvel movies under his belt.
He does, but I mean, and he really does. He's got the what was it, Knives Out.
Hmm.
He's got the Knives Out ones too, and it's like, but no, I really believe he can get bigger than Batista. Just as I said, Batista's getting older, but the biggest here's the thing. This is where I see, and you'll remember this over the years. You know where I see Roman Reigns hitting
Hmm.
fifth installment of the what is the Sylvester Stallone?
Rambo
No, the
or not?
with Couture and
Oh, Expendables.
Expendables. Thank you. I keep wanting to say Untouchables, but no, it's like no, the Expendables, the fifth installment of Expendables.
Oh, okay.
I could see him doing that, considering they're not going to have Stallone anymore, and everything like that. And they already have Couture, and he'll be by the time they do that again, he'll be 65.
Yeah.
By the time they do that, he'll be 65. You've got you're going to have some age. I mean, and it's like who knows how? I mean, Dolph Lundgren would be 70 by that time. Hey, princess. No, but it's like by the time he'll be 70 by that time.
Yeah.
But so Lundgren would be. So it's like they're going to want someone. They're going to want some younger people. I could see him absolutely making it in Expendables.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think he'd fit perfect. Well, we'll go on to our next topic here, and that is our WWE Friday Night SmackDown results from last week on the 20th. So Logan Paul challenges Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. He's looking seeking to win his first championship in WWE. Io Sky retains the WWE Women's Championship versus Charlotte in the main event. And Cena is seeking a match versus Solo Sikoa. So after all these years, do you think Cena can still put on a decent singles match?
Yes, because Hulk couldn't move anymore, and he was putting on monster matches like the WrestleManias, and Jericho carried him to a good match, by five
Hmm.
good matches, and he couldn't move anymore. He couldn't move at all anymore. It's not movement, and Cena can move better than that, and he's at that age,
Yeah.
and Cena can move, and Cena can still move. So of course he can. But here's the thing about Cena: he can sell. He's always been able to sell, so of course he can put on a good. Of course he can put on a good match. It's like, yeah, of course Sikoa is going to beat him
Yeah.
because Cena won't win anymore. Other than tag team matches.
Yeah. Pretty much. Um. Now, as far as Logan Paul challenging Rey Mysterio for the title, you think it's his time?
No, no. I think Mysterio's going to lose it to. I think he's going to lose to his son.
To Dominic
Yeah.
Mysterio.
Yes. I think they're building this whole thing where they've got him away from each other for a while, and then he'll come and then he's going to let. They'll be mask versus belt.
Yeah, and then and what is it? And also, well, Ray did beat his son at Mania, so this will be a
Yeah.
revenge match.
Yep, and then it'll be so I can see it being mask versus belt, and then he'll be able to. And then you talk about the heel heat out of this world
Oh yeah,
because you retired the legend.
yeah. The
You
day he
retired.
loses mask, that'll be it.
Yep, you retired the legend. So it's like, and then just the amount of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like he didn't go out honestly. Let me see. I didn't think
Well,
Sting
you want
was.
to know what would be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to know what would be a really good. You want to know what would be a really good way. Have him hurt his dad and beat him. The mask off, and then his dad coming out and retiring that night, and then his dad can't fight back because he hurt him.
because he heard
So
him.
then
Yeah, that's true.
so then he pushes Ray over. Then laughs. The family tries to get him dang, and then the next guy who's going to face him goes in and saves him.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, by the way, Princess, congratulations to your Eagles on getting the job done last night. Please, please keep the Kelly Greens. Wear those like 5 times a year. Like that was really
You
great.
and I grew up with the Kelly Greens.
Oh yeah, you know, and what did I text you? I was like, man, that was back in the days when Buddy Ryan's angry ass was roaming the
No, I
sideline.
know. And see, this is what I off the subject of wrestling for a second. Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan need each other. They couldn't win without each other. Neither of them could.
And they couldn't
They
get along.
they couldn't get along, and it's like those two together would have been 5, 6 Super Bowls. Those two together would have been that, because Ditka had really good defenses after Buddy, but never had the understanding of what the 46 was. So you had a lot bigger plays with that, and Buddy didn't have the understanding of what Ditka was doing.
The only other coach defensive coordinator combo you could think of just as good would be Bill and Bill for the New York Giants.
Yeah,
Parcells, the head coach, and
yeah.
Belichick, defensive coordinator.
See,
Don't
but they got
forget
along. They got along though.
they got along. Now and then don't forget in the 80s, Bill Walsh and George Seifert.
And they got along. That's what I'm saying. It's like the Bears could never get that. I'm just saying though, they didn't understand. I don't think he understood where Ryan ever understood where Ditka was going with the team, and for a long term, and Ditka didn't understand his defense
Yeah.
because defense was still good, but it wasn't that dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those two had 5, 6 Super Bowls together. They just couldn't win without each other.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's move on to our next topic here. And that is our scale back a couple of days and go to the Monday Night Raw results from the 16th? Yep. So Jimmy Uso shows up and super kicks Jay and costs him and Rhodes the tag titles. Drew McIntyre confronts Rollins ahead of their WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at Crown Jewel. Okay. And I know I ask this every single time there's a World Heavyweight title match with Rollins. Is this Drew's time? Is he getting back to the mountaintop with this match?
Not as a babyface. Not as a babyface.
So he should be a heel champion.
He should. Here's the thing. I think he should cheat to win, or get pissed off and losing in this one, and the next one go be heel.
Yeah.
And the next one be heel and just destroy. But it's like, see, the big thing with, I'm still mad at the possibilities of that match with Nakamura. The possibilities of that story could have been. It's too G-rated now. The possibilities of that story could have been unreal.
Mm-hmm.
You could have, if with real writing, you could have put Becky involved. Remember, I said her in a cage match, thinking about her husband, getting absolutely beat around until she gets a couple of moves and wins, because you know everything, but her mind was off of it. Then the next match could be normal. You get my point? It's like that's the thing, but it's like they don't. That's why I get about WWE. I can't stand with writers teams. Is the only way we see something that makes any kind of sense as a family.
Yeah. I don't know why you family.
Yeah, like the Anawahi family, the Hearts, the everything. When it's a multiple thing, like the Hart thing, I was reading this about the Hearts, that Brett had to keep going back to Bruce and saying, no, you're not getting the shine. It's Owen. And then they was talking to Pat Patterson, which is, see, those are the little things like a family can be like, no, 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 stay away. We'll handle this. I could see that doing Roman, stay away. It's like there's because there's nothing to that to me. What is it? I mean, there's nothing else that can say that they're not doing that because every time you see something that's not a family story, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does nothing. It doesn't seem to. It's like that's the same people that go shush.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go shush, and then they put a big fat guy in a shush shirt, and he has to do comedy, and it's like those are the same people that are making an amazing story that's 3 years old with the Anawahi.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they're the same? Yeah, right. Not no. There's no way. There's no way that Roman's not getting involved. There's no way that the big boy. It's like, and Yokozuna, if he was alive, would be getting involved in the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'd probably be about 300 by now. He probably have
And
lost a lot of weight.
Umaga. And
Yep.
Umaga.
And Umaga, they'd all
And
be in probably the
Rosie.
story. They'd probably be telling the story.
Yeah.
They'd probably be telling it, and it's like we don't, Roman, Jay and Jimmy are getting involved with it. It's like there's no way these failed comedy writers are writing something this good.
And you know what? Not to take away or dull, anything because the Bloodline storyline has been quite possibly the best in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Easily, right?
Yeah.
But just imagine how much better it would have been if Yoko, Umaga, and Rosie, Roman's late older brother, if they were still alive.
Oh yeah, and then you would add Rikishi in there.
Yeah. Yeah, now Rikishi has to step in.
Yes.
And oh, yeah.
It's like, but no, it's like I said, all of these family members and it's like with here's the thing, that Rhodes one with the Dusty, Dusty is not going to allow stupidity in the story. Dusty wasn't going to allow stupidity in that story. That was enthralling when they beat the Shield. That was enthralling. The whole thing, Dusty had something to do with that match. I'm talking about laying it out. He did.
Right.
And it's like, that's the point I'm saying about the writers. It's like, there's no way writing teams can write 2.5 hours of stupid and then have 3 beautiful years of a thing without help. Of a storyline without help. I mean, the Rhodes, the Anawahi, the Hart family. There's no way without that can they do that because they'll write stupid constantly.
Yeah, that is true. I think that if the other 3 were still alive, and then with Yokozuna, you actually would see a split in the elders also.
Oh yeah, and I can tell you, I will give the right. Who knows who's done this? But I'll say this: the Gunther and the Gable thing was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It's like, who do you give credit to that? But that's still great.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, absolutely. And then, well, with that being said, going on to our next topic here. So,
real quickly about Gunther, though, I wish they would have had the best of 7. That way, he could have lost 3 without losing his. He could have lost 3 without losing his heat.
I just read it earlier today. He's actually, I think, 150 days away from breaking Pedro Morales' record with the Intercontinental title.
And that's awesome. And I'm like, but here's the thing: he could have lost 3 without losing his heat and win the 7th match. And he could have done the best of 7.
Yeah.
I wish he would have done something like that. And I said you could still lose. See, losing 3 still gives him his heat. He's still dangerous, but it makes Gable to the top. Because he's the one that beats Gunther. Puts him to the top, and Gunther still survived a little guy. He survived somebody, and then he can win for a while until someone gets it. But people know in the back of their head he's finally beatable.
He's finally beatable. Yep, that's true. Much like when Jay pinned Roman at not Crown Jewel. It was the one earlier this year, Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tag match.
Yeah, but they knew that Roman's finally beatable.
Well, that's again that's the whole family thing. It's like the family beating, but good. But it's like, people get mad at it's the family that beat them. It's like, well, guess what? The Clique was the only one that beat each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, guess what? It's entertainment selfish. You want your friends to succeed. You want everybody to see, and you want it to be done right because you're not a W-2. You're a 1099.
Yep, that is true. Well, I want to get on to this topic real quick, and that is, so from Money in the Bank and WWE US Champion to Limbo, what should be next for Austin Theory?
See, he's going. I can see him going babyface. I can see it, but he's still I real. I can see it by himself. Maybe go into movies like Seth Rollins has, maybe like Sasha Banks has.
Mm-hmm.
Just do those things. But I can see him trying to smile in babyface and failing.
They're gonna turn him back heel again fast.
Yeah, but get my point.
Mm-hmm.
They'll turn it. But I'm saying I can see them trying to smile.
It's not gonna work.
No, it ain't. He is just like Randy Orton. He's just like a less rough Randy Orton.
He
In the fact that
is.
he's just a naturally smug jerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of him coming in, it reminds me a lot of Orton. Just that young punk that you just want, but somehow he just keeps winning.
Well, he's good in the ring. He really is.
He is. Austin can go.
Oh, see, it reminds you of the NFL. It reminds you of the NFL, let's just say Caleb Williams, a tremendous heel, by the way. Let's say Caleb Williams from USC. You're waiting for him to lose. He's got a couple. You're happy. And he's going to sweep the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if he plays the rest of the year, they're going for the NFL draft, but he can sweep the rest of the year. Did not play the bowl game. That's a heel move.
Yeah.
I think Caleb watches WWE. I really do, because he is so a heel.
Yeah. You know what? That would be that actually wouldn't shock me.
No, but here's the thing: Austin Theory, make him this era's Mr. Perfect. Make him this era's Mr. Perfect. It's like, here's the thing: a lot of people don't realize that unless you're a big time wrestling fan, the whole thing when he did the bowling, he did the everything. Have him just be the ultimate athlete. Find out his athletic credentials in high school, college, all that kind of stuff like that. You don't have to call him Mr. Perfect, but he can be that. He is that good because he's that good in the ring.
Yeah.
It's like he's that good in the ring. Be this next Mr. Perfect. I mean, he's that good looking. He's that good at everything. It's like just don't turn him babyface at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Well, and now our last side. I really want to hear your thoughts on this one. So, finish or DQ? The failure of WCW down the stretch, late 2000, early 01, falls mainly on Vince Russo.
Absolutely. You cannot say Hulk Hogan cannot show up anymore, or Ric Flair can't show up anymore, and put younger guys in there, because you look at every roster. What happens when they don't have a veteran presence? Every roster that doesn't have a veteran presence, what happens to them? They fall apart. 5, 10, 15 game losing streaks, baseball, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're very talented, but they don't have that presence. A long season.
Look at my Houston Rockets the last 3 years.
Yes. Long seasons mean that you get worn out, you get hurt, you get bored. You become Kevin Porter Jr. You become you get bored, you do stupid things. You become Justin Ross, who just from Kansas City, who just got arrested.
Wow.
He's got arrested for domestic violence.
Man.
But I'm saying long seasons wreck people mentally. That's why Trubisky in Chicago had Mark Sanchez. As a rookie, he had that mentor.
Yeah.
Mark Sanchez was the third stringer that 1 year before he retired, because he was the mentor.
Yeah.
And that's why you have mentors. And when Vince Russo did that, well, he's saying, "Oh, you don't need these guys anymore." He's putting a young people that a lot of the wrestling fans did not know with nobody.
Yeah.
And it's like saying no Hogan, no anything, and it's like saying no one, yeah, you're nothing. And then a couple years later, Hogan comes back WrestleMania and blows the roof.
Now, I do understand his method at the time period, because you look at, he's the architect of the Attitude Era, right? Now, at that time period, WWE got younger and they turned up the notch. So he tried to do the same thing in WCW. They got younger and he turned up the notch. The problem is those guys aren't near as talented as the ones in WWF.
They're not talented, but think about this. You got Steve Austin, who had miles on him by the time he went as bald guy.
Mm-hmm.
He had miles on him. You have, I mean, the whole idea of pushing Rock was his dad. Where people would know. It's like Triple H was young, but you had Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
You had Shawn Michaels who had miles on him.
Yeah, when the Attitude Era started, he was 32
Yes,
years
he
old.
had miles on him. It's like, and even when they were trying to go young in the new generation, Macho Man. And which the biggest mistake of the whole thing with Macho Man is Macho Man wanted to do a 2-year feud with Shawn Michaels. They said, no, you need. It's like, and then what did they do with Macho Man those 2 years? They put him with like Repo Man.
Yeah.
And it's like, could you imagine a Macho Man Shawn Michaels goodbye match at
That
WrestleMania
would have been awesome.
instead of Crush?
Athletes.
Instead of Crush. But I'm saying, see, you could have just put. Here's the deal: you could have just put the match with Razor at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're saying goodbye to Macho, and he gets in, and it changes things, and it's babyface Macho versus heel Shawn. And then you could have switched one pay-per-view to, and it's just, those are the things. It's like, yeah, you have those deals right there, but you can still have Shawn and Razor with, you have Shawn and Razor with Walter Payton instead of Diesel and Razor, and then that could have been that match instead of Diesel, who wasn't there yet. So not a lot would have changed if you would have just had Macho and Shawn at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, that is true.
But those are the things what I talk about. But like when you see Vince Russo saying these things, see, Vince Russo had 5-year-old kids at the time, 5 and 7 and stuff. He said he knew they didn't have and he was right about one thing. He knew they didn't have an attention span. He had young kids, so understood. But you absolutely, positively have to get it to the point where you figure something for the old guys, but you still have to pop a rating.
That's true. You got to put them in some sort of role. It's like they got younger, but they got way younger, and also WWE still had veteran presence. Because I mean, let's face it, Austin came along like when he went bald and became Stone Cold, he was like 28, so he was entering his prime.
But he still had miles. He had a lot of miles on that body.
From WCW, yes, that's true. And ECW, yeah.
Yep. He had a lot of miles on that body. Shawn Michaels had a lot of miles. But I'm saying when they went younger, they had some guys in there. I mean, they had some guys in. I mean, got to realize when you had let's see, for instance, Goldust, Dustin, he was 11 years in. When he was considered one of the younger ones, he'd been there since '86.
True.
He'd been wrestling since '86.
He was a U.S. champion in WCW.
Yes, so it's like he'd had 11 years in wrestling already.
Yep.
So, I mean...
Shoot, Farouk, when he got there in 96.
Yeah.
How old was he?
And he had to have... I mean, he had to have been 32 or 3, maybe 35.
Yeah.
He had miles, because you got to remember, he started late after the deal. So, but no. And for one thing, Ron Simmons was one of those that did not need to be bumping early in a match. He did that for the match, but this is somebody that did not need to. I mean, he is such the guy that can move like that for that size. You don't need to be catching him off.
No.
It's like Bobby. Imagine Bobby Lashley versus Ron Simmons in a prime.
Oh my God, that destroyed half the earth.
That would be. You want to know what that would be? That would be like a Marvel movie, and then they're tearing apart like the rainforests.
And they're like yeah, and they're like the same size. I want to say Lashley's got maybe 2 inches of height, but they're the same size.
See, I love Almighty Bobby Lashley. I wish he had prime Ron Simmons, and then you could have like a Marvel match.
Oh yeah,
where it tears apart it tears everything
like
apart.
Hulk versus Luke Cage or something,
Yes, I mean it would be that, but I'm saying it's like, see, that's what they're building now. They're building Marvel's matches anyway, without the lasers and all the light. But I mean, that would be perfect for that.
Yeah, it would.
But it's on Vince. It is on Russo, because truthfully, you have the same. The thing is, if it isn't for Russo, you're not going to have Hulk back for The Rock. You have that. But at the same time, if you have those guys, would they stay? Because they would have to be in the background. But you've got to have veterans.
Now, how much percentage of blame would you give Vince Russo?
No. I'm going to give him 90. The other 10% is the I'm going to give him 90. The other 10% is the television that didn't want wrestling anymore, which was really really stupid because they were still the number one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were still
Because
they, I mean, even when they fell to 3.4, they were blowing away those 1.0s that those movies got.
yep, yep, that
It's
is true.
that's the thing. It's like I'm gonna give 90 as far. I'll give 90 to 95 as far as what can we say as far as the product, the everything. But we also have to give that the TV didn't want them anymore.
Yeah, because what was it? TNT? No, no, the deal with AOL
TNT,
Time Warner
CBS,
and
both Turner. They see TV producers make this mistake. They said we don't want they said we don't want those country hip bumpkins anymore, so they got rid of Dukes of Hazard. It's like,
Mm,
and they got rid of and all that, which were, even though it was dropping ratings, it's still popular. It's
was
like producers just they're just like Vince. They don't like the South, but when it's making money, you better just ignore it.
that's true.
If it's make money, it's like when Vince got Tony Schiavone and took him to dialect classes. Why? Tony Schiavone's awesome at his job.
Yeah,
It's like, leave him alone with the no one. There isn't there's not going to be. It's a Saturday morning show. No one's going to give a crap about his voice. Not one 8-year-old's going to care.
no, no, not at all. Well, with that being said, that's going to end our program. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Once again, you can catch us on Twitch, Jake the Pundit on Twitch, and myself, Denzel Sniper 13. Also, hit the like, subscribe, and follow button on Facebook as well as YouTube as well. We have other shows on there as well as, and also hit the notification bell for updates on episodes. So for myself and the pundit, this is Top Rope Talk. We will see you all next Monday. Enjoy.